Well, first, the things I've seen is doctors and nurses thinking that we're coming to take their job, when in all actuality, we're coming to work harmoniously to serve the mom, because we all have the same, well, we should all have the same goal to make
Mm.
sure mom and baby are healthy and well to go back home. Sometimes they are not, well, thankfully, I've never experienced this personally, but in the doula world, it happens all too often. Sometimes doulas are shut down in offering advice or aiding in just support for the mom. Sometimes I've seen where mom did not have to get a C-section, but because she wasn't heard or listened to, that's where it went. So that's why we try to get moms in the pregnancy stage, so that way we can like coach mom so she knows what questions to ask, what things to say no to, what things to get more clarification on.
Explosive in there. Of course, Cassie Ventura is one of the key witnesses, the star witnesses for the prosecution here in New York
But I gotta
City
keep it
in
a buck 50.
Manhattan.
Cassie is not innocent in all of this, okay? Especially with the testimony that came out today.
He lost his son, and then he lost control. What would you do if you watched body cam footage of your own child's final moments?
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case.
Like, how are you going to demand that I give a certain amount? How are you going to demand that? That's crazy.
To say that you get more jobs outside of the Breakfast Club now, without mentioning that you get them because the Breakfast Club is crazy.
He wasted a half a year in the campaign, and so where she, again, matter of fact.
I feel more comfortable talking about some of my trauma because you were so brave to talk about what you went through. I'm like, y'all don't even know. Like, I barely scratched the surface. Like, this,
Right.
this was just like, you know.
Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2. Yeah. Microphone check. Yeah, microphone check. I come with no disrespect, but I came to give you everything you need. And I proceed to hit you with something that will give you a little bit of a preview. I'm trying not to curse, that's why I'm slipping over my words. But of course that be third, I can go and flip it back. To be exact, you already know lyrically where I'm at. I wear many hats, MC, host, and producer of the show, Mr. Eptom. Yeah, I thought I was about to go there. No, I don't fight there, but I came well prepared. We got Queen sitting right by Quest's side. And Devin's in the living room, but she'll be back in a minute. And we about to go and get up in it. But yet still we over here standing on business. Yes, I need a witness. Those that want to try to go and end this. I got a couple of words. You can get kicked to the curb, American X style. Right now we see how you getting your X out. You don't even want to come and sit next to the king, cause you already know lyrically how I swing. I sling left and right like a Mike Tyson fight. One blow, say goodnight, and I ignite mics in there. I spark the conversation, so we give a middle finger to those that be hating. They don't want to see me or Quest or the DY3 show, so they got to go. Yes, I'm next to blow, fifth to Mexico, just to lay low and collect mad pesos. How in day goes, sipping on my lemonade, and we just throwing shade and we blowing like grenades. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Welcome back to Dr. 3 Cent. I'm your boy Third Degree. We got Quez and the Queen in the house.
What's going on, my beautiful people?
Man,
how you doing?
Person in the freestyle, you know what I mean? And I be slipping and sound like a, like, you know.
Man, it's all good. Tell Jess,
we're good with y'all though. How's your week? You said what?
I said, tell Jess to get out the living room and come on. She know we got a show to do. Over there
so
playing.
We got 50 million things to do right before the show. Like literally, like within like the last 30 minutes, everything when it comes jam packed right before the show.
That's usually how it happens, man. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah. How you guys doing though?
Hey man, we good, blessed.
Yes, blessed. Actually, I just woke up from a nap. I don't even take naps, but I'm gonna start.
Right.
How was your week, bro?
You said what?
So how was your week?
And it was long, man. It was long, but we here.
There you go.
I'll be looking forward to these Fridays. We come chilling with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
What's up, Rob? My fellow Hebrew.
What's up, Big Rob?
Make sure you guys are hitting the like and the share button. Share this onto your feed. This is gonna be. I got asked, like, so I posted like controversial stuff on my Facebook page, but it's really only to spark the conversation because, truthfully, a little unknown fact: the name of this show was gonna be called "Spark the Convo," but I think someone else already had it. And I want to spark the convo because everybody in the world has something to say about certain topics and certain things, whatever. And so, hey, why not us? Why not the common people, of the people, for the people? Let's, figure out ways to have different perspectives and try to help people, you know what I'm saying, to try to help give insight, to try to maybe gain some type of understanding. But at the number one thing of it that people fail to realize, and I know some people know me personally, but yeah, remember, I am an entertainer. I entertain. I've been doing this since I was 16. So, I mean, I don't know what else really to say or do, but sorry.
Hey, they'll be strong. they will be strong.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so, some of these things that we talk about pertain to us, even though it's within the celebrity world, the court of public opinion, there's certain things that can pertain to us, some things we can take away from because, hey, they're everyday people just like us. And so we are here to entertain, educate, and engage.
Good stuff. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff we don't even really care about. But because there's a lot of discussion about it, and there's, a bunch of hyperboles back and forth, we have to talk about it because y'all talking about it. So don't get mad at us for talking about the stuff y'all already talking about because we want to hear what you have to say because there's always opposing views down our timelines about certain topics. So
all day, every day.
That's how
I got 5,000, 7,000 some people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I be seeing different things that be coming through all the time. And it's just like, I don't got time to sit there and to be typing. You know what I'm saying? So why not come to a generalized location where you can get on the mic or you can get up on your thing and you can speak?
Right. That's it. That's it. You have all the opportunity here to come and drop your 3 cents and get some change thrown back at you. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Be a contributor. Rob, I see you, and yes, I see all the LeBron vids I sent you. I'm not the one you need to be sending this to. You usually sending them to Mr. A.K. Toes Melvin and convince him why LeBron ain't great. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron's in my top 5. You know what I'm saying? But he's just not the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. We will have a different educational ceremony when it comes to basketball on a different day. I think we covered that within the last couple of weeks.
Right. Man, we dove deep into that one, man. We good.
Right.
Hey, man, I know you got some good ratchet news this week, though. And
some of it running over from last week because I didn't have enough time. We would have been here for like 8 to 10 damn minutes if I would have added everything I had from last week. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't wait to get this one done for y'all. So y'all kick back, watch the show, watch the ratchetness, and then come holler back at your boy.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy 30 Green. We're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So let's go. The Republican-led House to formalize Gulf of America name change? Sounds really dumb to me. Moving on. Rick Ross is quoted as saying, real jiggers stay real. Was it something really deep? He's open for reconciliation with Drake, but whatever. Yeah, he's still salty. Moving on. Lizzo calls the Bible a historical document and fans erupt. She just keeps putting her foot in her mouth, right? Moving on. 8-year-old boy orders 69,000 lollipops from his mom's phone. Hey, my mom would have made me eat every last one of those things, right? Moving on. Biden says he's not shocked by Harris' loss, believes he would have beaten Trump. Maybe. At this point, maybe. They would have taken a white man over a black woman, but just my 3 cents. Moving on. Mother beats essayist to death after finding disabled daughter undressed in his house. It's rightfully so. Free her. Moving on. Last week, a toddler was left in front of a SoCal police station. Deputies were attempting to identify the boy and locate his parents. This happened in San Bernardino. I'm telling you, all the weird stuff seems to be happening in SB lately, right? My hometown. But moving on. Cedric the Entertainer and Anthony Anderson opened a new barbecue spot in Los Angeles. Yeah, we shall try it out and see one day, right? I'll give you a review. Moving on. Kenyon Martin almost throws hands with Nick Young during the show taping. At the book of You a Child. Man, why they get so passionate about whatever they talking about? I think it was about Coach Pop, but whatever. Moving on. Disney World trip leaves dad stunned after $1,400 price tag for a day at the theme park. I mean, yeah, because he got to put food and all this other stuff. You might as well just stay at home and watch the Disney Channel, right? Moving on. Yo, Kevin Durant is petty for this. Real petty. Moving on. A. Marie says she leaves one thing to stop label from giving it to J-Lo and opens up about Beyonce and Ray Harris drama. Shout out to that sister because I did not want that song, or that song would have been trash if it got in the hands of J-Lo, because we all know that J-Lo's never been accused of being a good singer. Good dancer, good actress, but not a good singer. My 3 cents. Moving on. Trumpy plans to establish a national center for homeless veterans using funds that were previously allocated for housing undocumented immigrants. That actually might make sense for Dumb Donald, you know? Moving on. It's being reported that Tia Mowry and Corey Hardick are reportedly back together after deciding to work things out. I'm always going to celebrate it. I always want to see marriages work out, so I'm praying for the best for those two. Moving on. If it's true. Now we can move on. Jaden Daniels' mom is quoted as, I guarantee there's someone who's trying to get their hooks into Jaden Daniels. So thank God he got a mama like me, because it ain't happening. She's from San Bernardino, so we gonna talk about this because I think she might be emasculating him just a tidbit. But hey, moving on. You're a dog mom. This is what I seen in the store when I was getting Mother's Day card last week. Moving on. Derek Carr is retiring from the game of football. He spent I don't know how many years with the Raiders. So once he's a Raider, he's always a Raider. But I actually like the cat, and I hope that he would have ended his career a little bit better. Hopefully he comes back to the Raiders and ends there, but we'll see. Moving on. I'll be sure says he's the only one alive with key knowledge on Diddy, Kim Porter, and more as he prepares to testify. I wonder what he's going to say. He's incredible. But hey, moving on. Study finds friends who playfully roast each other are more trustworthy and honest. I can definitely attest to that. Me and Quez seem to roast each other and we get along just fine. There's others who are really, really sensitive. Anyway, moving on. Shout out to Jess just because, you know, it's her birthday, and as you can see, she was killing it last week. Moving on. Black officer receives praise for not leaving Rodney Hinton alone in the elevator with other officers. And I think the brother got fired. We're going to talk about that tonight too. So moving on. Chris Tucker's family all quit their jobs once they learned he was pulling in $20 million a year, and he told them to kick rocks. Moving on. Lil Wayne breaks up with Denise Vidot and kicks her and her daughter out on Mother's Day. That's cold pimping right there, right? Moving on. Michael Jordan, which some of us on this panel believe he's the GOAT, will serve as a special contributor with NBC for their 2025-26 NBA coverage. As he should, the right person to do it. Let's go. Can't wait. Moving on. And this is for Melvin. Michael, Kobe, anybody else afterwards. LeBron, whoever you want to put, that's how it goes. Michael, Kobe, the GOATs. Moving on. South African president dismisses U.S. asylum claims, says the colonizers don't like change. He's being petty. Moving on. Yeah, that looks about right. Moving on. Game Dash ordered to sell film studio and streaming network. That's crazy, man. Prayers up to him. Moving on. Marvel Studios reportedly had talks with Ryan Coogler to direct X-Men film. Hey, he's the Midas touch, man. He can't lose. I don't see why not. And I love the X-Men, so hopefully this is true. Moving on. Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom, says she decided to divorce her husband after waking up one day and realizing she deserves so much more. I wonder what that so much more was. Moving on. Snoop Dogg claims he bought everything Suge Knight owns on new diss song. Shut your bitch ass up. And it's actually pretty hard too. You know what I mean? Moving on. Barbershop TV series starring Jermaine Fowler ordered at Amazon. Can't wait to see what they got cooking with that. Moving on. Chris Brown to remain in UK police custody. Court date set for June 13th. He just got arrested just for going to tour, right? But I think it's stemming from an assault that happened previously, maybe 2-3 years ago. But we'll see. Praying for him. Moving on. 11 inmates escaped out of New Orleans prison. Man, praying for them. Moving on. They're saying that Pope has like a half black mom or something, but he doesn't identify as black. Well, we don't want your punk ass either way. So, yeah, moving on. My fault, he was born with Creole and Haitian heritage. So, funk you. Moving on. Tory Lanez is actually Kelsey Harris's bodyguard comes forward and admits that Kelsey Harris shot at Megan Thee Stallion. We'll talk about this tonight. Last but not least, this Diddy case. Cassie says she used to rub other ninjas' TUM on Diddy's nipples after they ejaculated on her, and I don't want. I'm Third Degree, and that's being Ratchet News. Enjoy the show. Peace. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Third Degree. We're back with more Ratchet News. Well,
yeah, I had to cut it off because I didn't want to turn it into a promo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was definitely ratchet. way to wrap it up, huh? You know
it cut off. I said, I don't even want to do no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? That was God. That was God. You know what I'm saying?
Rob says, says,
right.
Yeah, I think we all are, man.
Hey, man. Hey, shout out to that mom that beat Buddy to death. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. Especially your child disabled, man. Yeah, you got to be a real sicko to do something like that. So, you know, shout out to her. What else was in there that was good? Of course, Snoop. Go ahead. That's what you was on.
Right. When Suge Knight slapped him, he came back in a whole different way. He took that snap to another level. Shut your... And bought everything. He came back later and greater, you know.
You know, that I definitely do want to talk about that one. Then one of these days, that's going to have to be for like an after party, or we might have to do like a little special, or like pre-recorded or something, because that whole dynamic is kind of crazy. And you know, for Snoop to come back and own the label that he started on, I mean, you don't really hear that. And then on top of that, you bought it back from Suge Knight. We all know Suge Knight hated Snoop at one point, was threatening to beat him up and doing all types of weird crap, and he owns it now. You know what I'm saying? And Suge Knight sending his jail cell salty as funk, man. Like,
I know he is.
I shut up.
Shut your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that was funny. What else was in there?
It was a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff.
Well, not all of it good, but
I mean, catchy.
Man,
I'm glad Michael Jordan is going to commentate. He should.
He should. I would love to hear basketball perspective from his perspective.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm kind of on the fence about it, man, but you know, I can see it.
Right.
I am on the fence. I'm not sure how great Mike would be on the mic, but you know.
He gonna have time to practice. He can brush up. He's the greatest.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying? It is what
people try. People try. You know what I'm saying? Like people definitely try.
I don't think it's as seamless a transition as people think it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, it's one thing to play the sport, but then to be able to orientate that to an audience is different.
Agreed.
But he does have great insight, you know, from the perspective that he's 6-time champion. You know what I'm saying? The greatest of all time in our time. So, you know.
You know, the cool part about it, I hate to get on this real quick, but we have to circle back every once in a while. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I'm not a Bulls fan. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I watched that Last Dance, went back, and thanks to YouTube, you can always go back and watch his games, man. Those games with him and Reggie Miller, this were like epic. But his ethic, man, his determination, you know what I'm saying? Like his will. You know what I'm saying? The only other person who matches that is Kobe. You know, Kobe was like a basketball savant. Like he studied. And he studied Jordan. He studied Magic. He studied the greats. And then he'll turn around and use it on you. You know, Jordan even said as much, you know. So with that being said, yeah, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Bill Russell, no disrespecting him, he's dope, you know, but he definitely played in a different era where he dominated, you know, against smaller white boys, you know what I'm saying, with a team full of brothers. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Kareem is definitely dope. You know what I'm saying? His footwork was dope. But you know, he's definitely within the top 5. So you can't take that away.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. I want to see what games he's gonna commentate on too.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see special commentator Jordan. You know what I'm
Do you
saying?
think he's petty? You think he'll be
absolutely
commentating? No.
Yeah, he's Jordan. He was petty when he played the game. I know he's gonna be petty on. You gave him the mic now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like now where they had those mic'd up moments where you could really all the stuff we heard about him. We had to hear from other people. Yeah, now we get to hear how he addresses certain things
in real time.
I think it's going to be interesting, especially with people. If they allow like other athletes to come up there and talk, I'm curious to see how those interactions are going to go.
Me too.
Those are the ones that I want to see. Who's going to get up there and like, yeah, I'm the greatest, and Mike's sitting there. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
like, just gonna look at him.
Yeah,
like really. I would love to see him mic'd up next to Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Or Isaiah Thomas. That would be interesting.
That's never gonna happen.
Cheryl Miller was really the GOAT if we want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Cheryl Miller was dope. She was dope.
Especially for women.
Yeah.
Hands
down. Riverside's on.
Yep.
Oh man. So we got a lively one tonight, y'all. We got some topics. Of course, as you know, the Diddy trial is going on. There's been some new developments within the Tory Lanez case with Megan Thee Stallion. You know, so we can touch on that. Also, we definitely wanted to touch on this last week, but with it being Mother's Day and Jessica's birthday last week, we just felt the timing wasn't right. But Rodney Hinton Jr., you know, the father who took the life of a police officer after his son's life was taken, you know, he's in custody right now, you know, fighting for his freedom, you know. So we definitely want to talk about that and get some perspectives and you know, some understanding, some clarity with that. Rob says, I wish I could watch in that courtroom. Which courtroom? Because the Diddy one, thank God that they got Cassie out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that's been coming out, which is really just disturbing, and we're adults, you know what I mean? But if I'm over here like my stomach is turning and whatnot, then you know, yeah, okay, Diddy,
yeah, I'm good. Different level.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that courtroom. I'm good.
Where's Big Bird?
I'll pass on that one. You know what I'm saying? Have fun, Rob.
It sounds like, so remember the only like kind of social media we had when we were in school was like rotten.com and like Taboo. That's what that sounded like, what they had going on. No, that's a lot for me.
50 Shades of Freaky. You know what I'm saying?
This man. All right, yo. So let's go ahead and get let's go ahead and get some house rules out the way. This is Drop Your Three set. Mind you, this is a safe place for everybody to come through and to drop your thoughts, views, and opinions. When you come through, I have the link in the description on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're coming on, just know that if you're using your phone, you have to use your headphones, because if not, then it's going to bleed into the show, or there's going to be some type of feedback, and it kind of makes us look ratchet like the news that I give. So, you know, make sure that you got your headphones popping. You're in a nice, good spot for some Wi-Fi. Make sure that there's no noises in the background, especially TV or music, because if it bleeds out into the show, it's going to demonetize this show. Also, too, like I said, this is a show, like I say, this is a production. So we try to keep things nice and on the level. You know, we want to make sure that we elevate and we continue to elevate. So just make sure that, you know, that there's no eating on camera. There's no movement. You know, if you're not going from room to room or car to car, or if you're outside, you know, just try to just stay in just one spot, because if not, it's distracting to the whole show that everybody's watching, takes away from whoever's talking. So we just want to kind of just respect the show. Also, too, you know, again, we are adults, but let's just try to keep it a little bit more mindful of the language. We don't want to be too vulgar. We don't want to go too wild with the cursing. I know words are going to slip here and there, but we never know who's watching, whether it be church folk, you know, whether it be pastors, whether it be kids, whatever. So we want to make sure that we just kind of keep it on the level. Again, and if anybody has any problems with whatever is being posted tonight, just, you know that it's not offensive or intentional. This is just here so we can talk. Everybody's talking about it. If this triggers you, my apologies. We definitely want to make sure we send you our thoughts, loves, and prayers, but that's not our intent. But we definitely have to talk about it. And it's just nothing but respect. If anything that whoever says whatever on this show is their thoughts, views, and opinions, don't come for any one of us unless it comes out of our mouth. My email is open. My inbox is open. If you have something to say to me, say it to me. Don't have a problem with Quest. Don't hold them accountable for what I say. Hold me accountable. And also, too, there's a lot of stuff that we just may be ignorant to. We just don't know. We don't know everything. We're just here giving our opinions just like everybody else. So the only thing I can say is just it's all love.
Oh no, we were just conversating amongst us. I see you looking, but
oh yeah, I'm like,
I was asking her for the people who were on last week. Make sure y'all send Third your information with your name and email so we can finish getting those out to y'all. You know, for the people.
Oh, you didn't get them?
Huh?
Well, the ones who we just need the ones whose names, your name, how it appears on your ID, and your email.
That's
okay.
So I won't try to guess with the name.
Yeah, we don't want to send your Facebook name or nothing like that, because then you won't be able to use it. You know, so.
Okay. Yeah, for those who are wondering, we gave away late Mother's Day. We gave Mother's Day cruises to the mothers and participants who came on this show. So we're making sure we get that taken care of when we get them situated. So shout out to last week's guest, Sister Yvonne, came through as a doula. She's a doula. And it was a really, really good show, really informative. I got some requests to actually bring her back. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to do that.
Very dope show. Man, it was really, really good show, man.
I was getting nothing but good feedback, man, on the streets.
Man, we appreciated having you. You ain't getting one, Rob. You ain't no.
We giving it to his wife, man. We got to hook them up, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We hooking them up because they need that trip, man. We got to give them that trip so we can get things.
Get out of here. Right. Okay, we got you, Rob. My fault. You know what I'm saying? I thought you wanted one for you. It's not your turn.
You can go with it.
Father's Day is coming up. We'll have something else for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can't wait to do Father's Day. You know, I already got some good stuff lined up for the show as far as topics and what we're going to talk about. But Mother's Day was really, really good.
In the head. You know what I'm saying? That's what
I'm trying to tell you. I was inspired by last week's Mother's Day show. It was so dope, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, but there's been some stuff that's been popping up on my feed in regards to fathers. And it's some really, really good conversation pieces that I think we need to have, you know?
Okay. Well, let's have them then. That's good stuff.
Right. Well, with that said, let's get to some quick promos before we get ready into the show. Actually, you know what? Quez, you know what to do, man.
Man, you got a word for today?
I got some words.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. Go ahead.
Words. The court of public opinion versus court of law. And the court of public opinion and the court of law operate under vastly different principles with distinct outcomes. The court of public opinion involves influencing public perception and support through media and communication, while the court of law is a formal legal system where decisions are based on evidence and established legal principles. So, again, for those who ask, why do I post some of the stuff that I post? Because they, as entertainers or people who put this on Facebook or social media or whatever, opened up their lives to the court of public opinion. And just like my pops used to say, opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one and then they all stink. But we all got one. You know what I'm saying? So while everybody has an opinion, we're using this platform to give people, everyday people, an opportunity to speak their thoughts, views, and opinions right here on this platform. So there are court cases that are happening, legal proceedings. So however you feel about it, your personal feelings, my personal feelings, does not matter in the court of law. Because whatever they show, whatever they prove, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody is either guilty or not guilty. And this is where evidence comes into play. They take emotions out of it and they base it solely off of evidence. So, again, the court of public opinion versus the court of law. It is opinion versus fact. And this is where we are with it.
Amen to that word. I like that.
Word to Big Bird. So let's get it popping. Let's get some promos going, and then we shall be right back.
San Bernardino, you asked for it, and it is coming in honor of his mom, Melba Louise Mercer. Melba's Soul Kitchen coming to San Bernardino. You want a sneak peek of what he got? This Sunday, he has Soul Food Sunday with this choice of southern baked chicken or fried chicken, fried fish. Your choice of two sides, mac and cheese, rice, gravy, collard greens, candied yams, okra, corn, tomatoes, cabbage, all for $25. It's going to be located off of 22,000 East Highland Avenue in San Bernardino, California. Make sure you go check it out and support. Melba's Soul Kitchen coming soon to San Bernardino. Support, 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 support. Meet Terry Johnson, the woman who used $50,000 saved for a wedding to start a luxury candle business, and she is now worth $2 million. She transformed her love for Harlem's rich cultural legacy into a multi-million-dollar business. Using $50,000 originally saved for a wedding, she founded the Harlem Candle Company in 2015 and is now found in major retailers like Nordstrom and Bloomingdale's. Each candle honors legends like Langston Hughes, Josephine Baker with scents that transport you to the Harlem Renaissance, like Billie Holiday, Langston Hughes, Duke Ellington, even Frederick Douglass, and a host of other Harlem Renaissance figures that you would love as it celebrates rich history within the African American culture. Also, other scented candles. So make sure you go out and support Terry Johnson and the Harlem Candle Company. Make sure you support. We see you, Queen. Salute.
Yeah.
You're wasting time. No, it's not automatically stopping today. I don't know what's going on. But we are back. All right, y'all. Hey, first and foremost, we want to thank the people on Facebook. Thank you, especially for our rebroadcasters. Make sure you guys are hitting the like, share button. Make sure you're sharing this out with your people. The YouTubers, you guys keep me popping. You keep the show popping, and we thank you as a whole. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button, and your notification button. So every time that we come up with these shows, you're the first to be notified.
Absolutely. So where are we starting at today, Third?
So much to dig into, dog.
I know it.
Where do you want to start? How about we let the queen pick?
Where do you want to start today?
I want to start with the Rodney Hinton case.
Okay.
All right, bet. Let's get into it. All right, so Rodney Hinton. For those that don't know, here goes a little backstory about Rodney Hinton.
I just want my brother to see me. He lost his son, and then he lost control. What would you do if you watched body cam footage of your own child's final moments? 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was believed to be driving a stolen car and fleeing from officers with 3 other teens in the vehicle. Police also claimed he was armed. According to official reports, Ryan ran between 2 garbage bins and allegedly pointed a weapon at an officer. That officer fired 5 rounds, hitting Ryan in the chest and arm. He collapsed and never got back up. Police stated the teen had aimed at them first, but the body cam told a different story. Ryan never fired. In fact, there was no indication he even made verbal threats. Eyewitnesses said they didn't see a weapon at all. The next day, his father, Rodney Hinton Jr., was invited to the station to view the footage. He watched in silence, tears rolling down his face, before walking out early. No one could have predicted what would happen next. Minutes later, Rodney got into his car and drove off from the police station. Across the road, Deputy Larry Henderson was directing traffic for a local graduation ceremony. Rodney didn't slow down. Instead, he crossed the center line, accelerating toward the deputy. Witnesses say Henderson was thrown several feet into the air from the impact. There was no sign Rodney tried to brake or swerve. He was arrested on the spot and is now facing serious charges for what prosecutors call a planned act of retaliation. But his attorney argued otherwise. He's not a cop killer. He's a grieving father who just watched his son die. His mind snapped. Rodney had no criminal history, no record of violence. Until that moment, he broke. In court, law enforcement filled the room in tribute to their fallen colleague. Deputy Henderson had just retired after 33 years of service and was still volunteering in the sheriff's department. Now, Rodney could be sentenced to life behind bars or even face capital punishment. Is this justice or the beginning of another tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments. This story is far from over.
I just want my brother to see me.
He lost his son, and then he lost.
I forgot they're not automatically stopping today, so. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. It's a sad story, all the way around. For me, I am third degree, and I'm the empathetic person. I feel bad for everybody involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a sad situation. A man lost his son, and then he lost his mind, and then another person lost his life that wasn't even directly involved into the situation. But with this being said, though, this is something that, for those that know me on social media, those who are familiar with my music, I've spoken about certain things like this for a long time. The very first public thing I've spoken about was the Sean Bell incident. And this is the product of America not handling a situation correctly, because when unarmed and innocent people are dying, you're playing with people's lives, because this is somebody's loved one, whether they're a father, brother, sister, mother, cousin, son. You know what I'm saying? You're playing with somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody's child. This man watched his child get murdered, you know what I'm saying, essentially. And then they tried to throw mud on his name. And so, again, you just heard he had no prior acts of violence, no record, you know what I'm saying? But the man snapped. So it becomes a thing of double standard because now, we live in a society where we've seen multiple incidences where there's been school shootings, theater shootings, club shootings, church shootings, and people try to advocate for the suspect, saying that, hey, mental illness. But for us, we don't get that same type of luxury or that same type of love. And this man snapped. And again, I get it. For those who have commented before, well, he took somebody's life. I get it because that man did not deserve to die. You know what I'm saying? But this is the product. This is what happens when you don't handle the situation correctly. What do you expect people to do when the same situation keeps occurring and reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring? There's only so many cheeks that we can turn.
Mm-hmm. I only got one for you. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't turning. I don't know about that part. Like you said, man, absolutely true. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying?
I'll read what she said real quick. It's sad tragedy, but I can understand. No right or wrong here, just sad. Agreed.
Yeah, it's hard to call this one. You know what I'm saying? Because I can definitely understand as a parent. You know what I mean? As a parent of black sons one is of age right now, you know what I mean? And having to have those difficult conversations about, you got to be careful who you with, where y'all going, type of environment you're going to be in, protect yourself first at all times, having those conversations, I can definitely understand how he could come to that conclusion. Like you were just saying, it's unfortunate that somebody innocent lost their life, and definitely prayers out to that family. Well, we also have to understand that the way that these individuals on these police forces have been behaving without any type of accountability is absurd. It's really absurd. And if we talking about gang violence and all of these other scenarios that are quote unquote black crimes, like people like to say these black crimes, but we don't hold these officers to a higher standard than a civilian, then it starts to look like oppression. And people that are oppressed don't take time to try to decipher which individual actually did it, because you all participate in the same system, right? We talk about gangbang. Police are acting like gangs now. You know what I'm saying? And usually in gang violence, it's not the person who set the block up or killed your cousin that get hurt. It's always somebody else. So I also have to put that in context for me personally, because I hear a lot of people, he shouldn't have did it to him. He should have found that individual. To maybe to him, they all are part of the same system, so it didn't matter, especially if you just watch them kill your child. Do you really want to go out here and hold on? Where's officer such and such? Or do you get your lick back?
And it's sad because a lot of times good officers, because there are good officers, there's never a whole, there's never all bad, all anything. And a lot of times good officers happen to be the victims, in certain circumstances, because they were there, because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. It could be an officer that's just conducting a traffic stop, but you went through something and you did something, and now that officer, it just happens so often, and it's usually not the bad ones who get caught up. It's usually not the ones who are the ones who suffer on the other end of the stick of what they dealt out. And people do look at it as a whole.
Right.
Very much so.
So, what do you guys know of the case so far? Like, do you believe that his son was actually involved in any crime? Do you believe that he had a gun?
Man,
I don't believe he had a gun, but I do believe he probably was with his friends doing what people do, getting into trouble. But that's why the law is in place. Because when you get in trouble, you're supposed to go through a system to be punished accordingly, not murdered. Nothing that happened should have happened, especially if, joyriding is a crime. Stealing a car is a crime. All of those are crimes.
Allegedly.
Right.
Those are crimes.
No, I'm saying allegedly because
that he allegedly did it.
Yeah, because
okay, but those are really crimes.
He wasn't driving.
When he was joyriding.
According to witness accounts, nobody was driving. They were backed into a stall in the back of an apartment complex.
In a stolen car.
The car wasn't stolen; it was up for repo. And
so then it was stolen.
Yeah, so you know how when your car go up for repo and they can't find it, they report it stolen in that regard because you ain't made payments and they can't find you. So
that makes it even worse.
A company out of state reported it stolen because they couldn't find the car. You know what I'm saying? But it really was just up for repo. It was that young man's car. It wasn't even his son driving. That's what I'm saying. It get crazy with these narratives. And if I can find out this information, that means the mainstream news can find out this information. And, anytime you shoot a person in their back, I don't care what the reasoning is, it's really not justified to me. If you have to shoot somebody in their back, that means they was running away from you. We don't see nowhere on that tape where he pointed no gun, even if he had one. You know what I'm saying? And I don't doubt that, I'm not going to say he did or he didn't. I'm just saying if he did, y'all don't have evidence to corroborate your story.
True.
And the burden of proof is on you because you're the law enforcement official, and it's just mind-blowing to me that police always have this burden of belief, even when their stories don't add up, and they get all the grace in the world of being scared for their life, but this is your job every day.
And then I'll put it into context. It just seems like, and again, these are our own opinions. This is my opinion. It just always seems like it's easier to kill or harm a Black person, and you always feel like your life is in danger when they have imposed a threat, especially if they're running. We seen the same thing. It was a standoff with some little kids, and they actually had guns, and they were actually shooting them. Not saying that anything should have happened to those children, but they were not Black children. So the conversation was different with that.
Right.
Come on, so you can go home. Mommy and daddy are. If they happen to look like us, that would not have been the conversation.
Very true.
That would have ended differently.
Right. Cheryl says, I hate the word allegedly. Well, yeah.
You have to say it for libel. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to be in court with you, Cheryl.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know
we just got through saying, make sure you guys are hitting the share button. Oh, we see you, Adoration. We see you, Kashan. Yeah, we have to say allegedly because, again, if you missed third word of the day, it was court of public opinion versus court of law. At the end of the day, hey, we weren't there. We don't know for certain. We weren't witness. We weren't privy. So again, to protect ourselves, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you definitely have to say allegedly because we still don't know.
There's a lot of people watch this show. Y'all ain't gonna get me.
There's a lot of people watching. You know what I'm saying? And they're just waiting. They're just waiting. Hey,
and this is my other opinion on the case is for that father. You know what I'm saying? Why we ain't seen that video?
Feel better.
Yeah, I hope you feel better, Adoration. Why we ain't seen that video? Y'all got video of Jonathan Majors running 17 New York City blocks. You know what I'm saying? From all these different angles. I'm pretty sure there's some body cam footage of the accident and y'all arresting this man, or what actually happened. I'm just curious on that. I'm not saying it's either, one way or the other. I just would like to see some form of video. You know what I'm saying? Since y'all have video about everything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just me.
Cheryl says, I understand the legality. It's just when it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, etc. I feel you. I feel you on that one. But still, you know what I'm saying? When people be coming with full blown stuff, like Jaguar Wright, you know what I'm saying? Like she came out speaking like she was speaking factual, and Brian McKnight hit her with a lawsuit. Or Tony or when Tony Bugsby was so factual with his lying hole in the story defendant, you know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z turned around and is suing his law firm and the girl, you know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z got long money, you know what I'm saying? So for people to make wild allegations and stuff, you definitely have to say alleged because you don't know. And this is why we have court. Now, is the judicial system flawed? Yes. You know what I'm saying? And has it worked in the favor of black men and women or brown people? No. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but there is a thing called the court of law, court of law versus public opinion. And if you weren't there, then you just weren't there. So we don't know.
It's all speculation.
Perfect. Way to sum it up.
That's what it is. It's all speculation. But I am curious to see how this is gonna go. You know what I mean? And huge shout out to that brother for standing on what he believed in. Folks tried to sit in there and intimidate that man, which is again kind of a gang tactic to me. And he actually filed a civil rights lawsuit against them for that.
Well,
for trying to intimidate him in that courthouse,
right?
Twice.
Because the thing is with law enforcement, they stick together. You know what I'm saying? Whether black, white, Mexican, yellow, tan, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they are one. You know what I'm saying? They can do whatever type of crimes. They can hate each other. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to sticking together, they understand the code. They understand the business. You know what I'm saying? Like so. And it's crazy because like the cop that actually was the black cop. I meant to post that clip, but I was just running around. But there was a black cop that was with Rodney Hinton Jr. in the elevator, and he would not leave him alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard, there was some saying that he got fired or he got let go of his job behind that. And because he didn't stand with his brethren, his blue brethren, so to speak. Saying like he lost his gig behind it, but he understood, to me, that's a hard predicament, which is why I don't see myself ever becoming a cop because, I understand it's a job. I understand it's a career, but when you stand on principles and morals, do you throw that out the window for the betterment of your people or do you stand on what you actually believe in? If you see people who look just like you, who are being prosecuted, who are being shot down, treated like dogs, or there's a certain system in play for people who are not of a certain hue, then, how do you stand behind and support that? You know what I'm saying? And still go home and sleep at night. So,
man, you know who else stands behind their brothers, whether they do something wrong or not. And if it's one of us, it's all of us. You know who else does that?
Who?
Crips and Bloods. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Put that in perspective. Because if you guys are supposed to be the moral authority, and I'm not doubting that there's a bunch of good cops out there. But unfortunately, y'all get lost in the sauce because the bad ones prevail, and true to the culture of policing, the ones that try to whistleblow on the bad ones end up being ostracized. That doesn't seem like justice to me.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think we have a problem with police, and I think we got a problem with the culture of policing.
Right. Adoration says, I stand 10 toes down behind that man. And she also adds, yes, there's a whole documentary on this. Cops who wouldn't bring themselves to support this stuff, and they got fired and blackballed, white and black cops. It's insane.
Right.
Or worse. Yeah.
You have to drop that. You have to drop that documentary.
Even at LA, like you remember, LA Times did a whole expose on the LA sheriffs having racist gangs in the LA sheriffs.
Oh yeah,
initiation.
I forgot they were called like the Scorpion Unit, Scorpion Gang, something like that. But yeah,
there was a few of them.
So there was one specifically at the downtown Men's Central Jail, specifically there, and there was actually an FBI agent who went undercover to try to investigate, and they put him in the hole. They had him on a whole nother floor. They didn't even know he was a cop, and then when they found out he was a cop, they tried to cover it up. He ended up getting out. Somebody did something to save him, but it's even a story behind that. He was doing a story. He was something, but he was investigating them, and they ended up having him down in a dungeon somewhere. He wasn't even in general population. He wasn't around any inmates, and another inmate got the word out to kind of save him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a story behind that too. With I think Lee Baca was the sheriff at the time.
Yeah, Lee Baca. Yeah. Man, it's just crazy, man. It's sad. It's really, really sad. You know, I definitely gotta give prayers to everybody involved in that situation. You know, I hope the brother, you know, Rodney Hinton definitely gets a do-over within life, you know, because again, if you put yourself in his shoes, what do you expect him to do? You know what I'm saying? When we've seen the justice system fail us over and over and over again, I think in his mind, he saw the Trayvon Martins, the Mike Browns, the Philando Castillos, the Sandra Blands, you know, saying oh man, so many just to name, right?
Yeah, that part in itself is crazy. You know what I mean?
Breonna Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and all these people, with the exception, well, I can't even say with the exception because they're trying to free him too. With the exception of Derek Chauvin. You know what I'm saying? Most of these police go without being held accountable. They get moved to different departments. They get a new job. They get to live out the rest of their days. You know what I'm saying? In peace and tranquility. So, yeah, it's gonna definitely be a high profile case because I think anyone with children that has human emotions can understand what that father went through, and without putting any racial lines in it, I think everybody can see that. Like, if it was your child and you felt like they were killed unjustly, what would you do? Because we all say what we'd do if it was a regular person, but what if the unjustness came from the police? What do you do?
Like the people who are supposed to protect and serve you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because if there's anybody else in the world, you know, we knocking them off. They're like, let's just be honest.
It's just
crazy. Allegedly.
It's just crazy about, you know, the lack of de-escalation that they have when it comes to people who looks like me. That's my problem with it. You can get chased with a knife by somebody who looks like you. You can have guns pointing at you by somebody who looks like you, and you'll still pull out a taser or try to talk them down. But as soon as it's somebody who looks like us, you're automatically threatened. Back to you, whatever, what have you. And that's the biggest problem, because why?
Right. Now I feel it. All right, Shaw.
What's up, Jess?
Hello.
Hi, Jess. You just snuck in there.
Yeah, in the living room playing tic-tac-toe with the kids and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole production going on in here.
Well, I hope you had a great birthday and a great Mother's Day.
Yeah, I did.
Good stuff.
All right, y'all. So let's get into some quick promos real quick, and then we shall be right back.
Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working, showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With PlanNet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big, show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below or
you could just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
You scared?
Sinners is the #1 movie in America.
We're gonna kill every last one of you.
Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan deliver a banger. Sinners, now playing only in theaters.
Accomplish eliminating frizz and have that shiny look to your waves, you need a laydown pad. The Wave Essentials is having a sale right now for buy 2 get 1 free. With the little strap on the back, it makes it super easy to lay your hair down, and the plastic on the front helps with laying the hair down and creating that shine. Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes and you'll accomplish that shine and that lay down that you need. Nobody likes frizz, so make sure you go get your lay down pads before the sale is over. Accomplish
360s on deck. Just say the thing. Just say the 360.
And we are back. We are back. Welcome back to Drop Your 3 Cent. We have to drop some promos. Also, too, if you want some type of advertisement, some type of shout out, just make sure you reach out to us at dropyour3cent@gmail.com, and we can work out the particulars and we can get you some love shown. So yeah, should we? Are you up to breast on the Diddy stuff, Jess?
I don't know what happened today. That's it.
just today? You
Yeah.
got the other 4 days covered, huh? You good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it.
I don't know what that girl said on Stan today. So.
It's
a lot.
Let's just go to like day one and let's just dig into it.
Explosive in there. Of course, Cassie Ventura is one of the key witnesses, the star witnesses for the prosecution here in New York City, in Manhattan, in the courtroom. And yeah, I mean, it was the day of all days. They really needed to key in on Cassie's involvement with all of this, because if you look at the indictment, the original indictment, it's all about freak-offs and how Sean Combs set up this big enterprise, this big sex trafficking enterprise, paying people, transporting escorts to have sex with Cassie. I mean, it was explosive. It was disgusting to hear the allegations, and really Cassie had to get into it all. And it was the first time in 6 years that they had seen each other. So really it was something to see. I mean, they haven't seen each other since Kim Porter's funeral.
Oh, wow.
And for Diddy to see her for the first time, it was just all very interesting. He's stoic. He's not doing much. He's listening. So are his family and friends. So it's really interesting to see. Explosive in there. Of course, Cassie Ventura is one of the key witnesses.
So, real quick, she went to Kim Porter's funeral?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a little disrespectful. Yeah.
I mean,
For real, say a lot happened today, Jess.
a lot did happen. I mean, and then in that type of setting, with those type of people, I'll just say it like that. It's different. It's certain things that we wouldn't tolerate or do that they are.
Right. So for those who are just tuning in, we're talking about the Sean Diddy Combs ex-trafficking and racketeering trial begins. I had to point out these words because it's really, 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 really important. Ex-trafficking and racketeering. This is what the man has been brought up on charges. So, with that being said, I mean, there's been so much that's came out. Has definitely come out. We're hearing a lot about Cassie and Diddy's relationship. A lot of stuff that's been happening, you know what I'm saying, within the bedroom of them. It's crazy. It's crazy. What are your guys' thoughts about what you guys have been hearing so far?
Well, I think, let me preface my statement, right, with Diddy is a horrible human being, like, for real, right? The stuff that we've known about Diddy and the things that we're hearing now about Diddy are just, confirmation that he's been a horrible human being. You know what I'm saying? He's been a weird dude that somehow has been able to survive all these years without confrontation and accountability with the law. But in terms of what he's charged with, which is sex trafficking and racketeering, I haven't heard any evidence to that yet. I heard a whole lot of freaky shit. I haven't heard sex trafficking, and I haven't heard racketeering at all, to me.
But she's just the first witness, so basically they're really discrediting her at this point in the game. And even though we're looking at it from our perspective, like, oh, she ain't innocent. She got, she had stuff to do with that. She had this, that, and the other. Sometimes you have to look at it from, she was a young girl.
I got that clip.
You saw that?
I got the clip. I'm the one who posted it, and I got questioned, like, why am I posting controversial ish? You know what I mean? But I got the clip loaded up right now, so we can get to that one too.
Yeah, like, so she's young, and then she probably depended on him for a lot. He's rich. He was taking her from her situation that she had, and he showed her something new. Now, when it changed to abuse and all of that, that's something else. Maybe she just wanted to please him. Maybe she wanted to keep him happy. I'm just playing advocate. I'm not saying none of this is okay or normal or not sick, because, yeah. But I'm saying she was influenced, and maybe heavily influenced at that time for being young, and maybe she wanted to please him. Like, I don't want him to have somebody else. Maybe I just want him to just have me. Or,
well, that's what she said.
Oh, we'll see.
She said that on the stand today. That she was fine with the freak offs until he started wanting to bring in other women.
Is her husband listening to all of this?
Man.
Yeah, he's right there in the court.
Strong brother.
As a matter of fact, they said that he was they said that he was staring Diddy down, you know what I'm saying? Like, first off, shout prayers to her. I'm sending positive energy to Cassie. Yes. Because whatever she went through to try to relive it, and she's like 8-9 months pregnant. I mean, I think this is the reason why they had her go up first, because I think she's due sometime in like June. So they wanted to kind of probably get her out of the way. So I gotta give her, she's being strong, you know what I'm saying, for the circumstances that she's in. So I definitely gotta give a shout out to her. But yeah, definitely shout out to him, because it's really hard to hear. And I think he's walking into it with an open mind of like, hey, she's not perfect. She had a life before me, you know what I'm saying? So he's probably not judging. But it's hard though.
He can't be judging.
I mean, he can't be judging, but they dragging her, like showing she was still reaching out to him.
Oh, yeah.
They was in a relationship.
I've seen that.
So yeah.
That's what are your thoughts?
So, what does a pimp do?
Lots of things.
Sex trafficking. Oh, sorry. Ex trafficking. My bad. Ex trafficking, racketeering.
Pimps
sounds
too.
like, huh?
Pimps get paid too. That's kind of like the key component of the trafficking, is that you're getting payments.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think a lot of pimps like the control. Of course, they want the money too, but I think they like the control.
I think they love the money more, but go ahead.
I don't know. He just sounds like a pimp. That's all I'm saying. He sounds like a pimp. It sounds like he pimped her out. You know what I mean? And that's disgusting. That's inhumane.
He was like the pimp with the reverse monetary part. Like he was paying instead.
Yeah.
So he was like the trick pimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's how I was kind of getting ready.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to.
I see you trying to save her.
I see you trying to save her. I'm gonna put on my captain cape and try to save her a little bit. And it's not pimping if you paying. You know what I'm saying? Like, pimping. The pimps get paid. They don't pay. So yes, I mean, so what we're finding out right now is that this dude, is he a disgusting creep? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because what she's alleging that has happened to her, this is something that's brought out. Cassie accuses Diddy of, SAing her. She also testified that Diddy kicked her out after he found out she was seeing Kid Cudi. So we heard the rumors of Kid Cudi's car being blown up in his driveway, you know what I'm saying? And just, they don't know for certain it was Diddy, but they're kind of pointing the fingers and saying that it was Diddy. Kind of like what Cheryl said, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it must be a Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like
allegedly.
Allegedly, But hey, Cassie testified about this in court. So he's not pimping. The way that he be classified as a pimp is if he's like, hey, Cassie, I'm sending you out to Miami. I brought you some new clothes. You're going to go out there, you know what I'm saying? You're going to take some cheesecake to this person right here. You're going to do all types of freaky stuff with that cheesecake. He's going to pay you. At the end of it, you come back home and bring that money back to daddy, okay? I mean, then that's definitely classified as pimping. He's a nerd. He's trying to live out some type of fetish. I think he does, like what you were saying is you were on the right track. I think he has definitely a control issue. You know what I'm saying? Like we're hearing different spurts of his outburst, his control, his need for power. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that maybe he wasn't afforded as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So Connie says being freaky is one thing, but brutally beating someone is another matter. He wasn't pimping her though. Very true. Who's to say that Diddy didn't have abuse, himself? He was abused. Maybe he's seen his mom get abused. And he's reliving this on Cassie. And it's sad because I think the backstory is she was 19 when, she signed with Bad Boy. If we're talking about it, if we're going to be real and have an honest conversation about it, she was seeing Ryan Leslie, the singer-producer, who was actually, producing some of her music. Diddy came and presented, it's one of those things where, hey, I can be with a Ryan Leslie or I could be with a CEO. You know what I'm saying? And she got with CEO. And I think, and I can't speak for her because I don't know her, but what's up, C. Cherie? How you doing? Make sure you guys are hitting the like, share, subscribe button. Thank you for coming through. I don't know her. I don't know her situation, but a lot of times when I see from women and some men in the industry, when they're trying to come on, these people will essentially sell their soul. They will do anything, you know what I'm saying, to try to please or think they'll get into good favor of some of these people. So, she did come in as a young, naive girl, you know what I'm saying? And maybe she got caught up with the lifestyle, the money, the lifestyle, the fame, and thinking that maybe she's going to get some type of acclaim behind it. But, once she woke up and she tried to leave, and this is where it gets really, really, really hard and really tricky because she tried to leave. And it seemed like he was trying to manipulate her. He had some type of control. He tried to force her. This is where, Diddy is definitely a sick, perverted person.
And this is this is where your third words of the day come into play because we can all have an emotional response or court of public opinion, as you said, but when it comes to sex trafficking, it's very specific, right, in terms of how they describe it. And it is a federal crime, but it's people doing things for commercial sex acts, right? Commercial, meaning there's monetary transfer for having sex with said individual. And that's going to be hard to prove if the whole time you're admitting that you're in a relationship with this person and that you love this person. And yes, I do think it's messed up, but I think the way they charged him is going to be their downfall, because it's harder to prove that he was sex trafficking her than it is to prove that he was a domestic abuser. They should have went the domestic abuse route as the primary charge, because that would have been easier to prove than sex
trafficking. I don't
mean
to interject, but it would have been an open and shut case if there was domestic disputes, because he came out saying, "Oh, I never did anything to her," but then video came out. We see you beating the dog shit out of this girl. You know what I'm saying? Like automatic. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a sick individual, bro, and yeah, you need help. Not only a good ass kicking, but you need some serious help.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he's getting it in jail.
Nah, he hasn't made so allegedly. You know, he's paying people to make his bed and probably got compensated. He this dude. I got some things to say, but Adoration says that man is a monster. I see how people could feel that way. Cheryl says Cassie was very naive at first, but after a while, she was a part of it. You know, there's been people on my timeline, especially on the post I just put up there, saying that, you know, she was just trying to do anything to try to appease him, you know, because she wanted to try to keep him, you know, because of her young age. So I don't know. Consuelo says, I call it Kim Kardashian effect. They have adopted Kim's formula for success. Cheryl says again, she knows where her parents live. She could have gone home and started over. Really? Could she?
Well, she did a couple times, according to her admittance. That's what I'm saying. Her talking is kind of hurting her if you're listening to it. You know, because on cross-examination, she up there smiling and giggling and with the defense attorney and I'm not saying this to be, you know, insensitive. I'm just saying from an optics standpoint, and from what she's saying, it seems like she had plenty of opportunities to leave and she just didn't want to. You know, even with the R word situation, she said 2 nights later, oh, we had a good time that night, so we had sex, and this is why I was dating my husband. Like, come on, man. Those two, I hear what y'all saying in terms of being influenced and coerced, and you know, I don't take anybody's experience for granted, but somebody got to explain to me how that makes sense.
Right.
Within a matter of days. You know?
Very true. Adoration says that's the part I don't get. People talking about why didn't she leave? That man was unaliving people left and right. Allegedly. But it's starting to seem true though, right? Consuelo says, I think the RICO charge is a stretch. Yeah, because, you know, like Quaz had brought up, you know, RICO normally involves like a syndication, like, you know, a group of people. It's just one, you know,
so far. I think their witness list is so long. I do want to hear from Albie Shore. I do want to hear from, you know, the other people that they have lined up to testify against him.
But is Albie, no disrespect to the OG, but is he credible or is he off the rocker? I think they're gonna have a great time cross-examining him.
Oh, everyone. That's the thing.
Him specifically, they're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, especially when he blamed him for being the reason why he almost died. So
exactly. Adoration says, "No, I think he needs capital punishment." Sorry. For Rob says, "Yeah." It's called battered woman syndrome. Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and it is.
Consuelo says those text messages are damning for her. Rod says, yeah, she looked bad with the messages.
Yeah,
like
for her
she was an addict. There is that part too of the drugs. They were both functioning addicts. They operated accordingly to their lifestyles. I don't think Cassie's all that innocent. And Rachel, she wasn't being influenced. She was being beat.
She feared her life. So anyone who fears their life, they're going to do what the abuser says.
To survive.
Yep.
And then it's the whole, the lifestyle. She didn't want to go back to her parents' house or sweep in the front of the bodega or, but you know, she wanted that lifestyle. She wanted to be rich. She wanted to be famous.
My only knock on Cassie, and this is a fact that has been brought up, is that I really wish that Cassie would have just said, forget the money. Forget the 10 million from the Intercontinental, forget the 20 million from Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had proof that this man was abusive towards you. You could have went to the criminal route and pressed charges and got this, it'll be an open and shut case. That's just my only thing. I'm not negating what she went through. I'm not saying, hey, she deserved, because she did not, at all. It's just when you look at the schematics of it, because again, he's been hit with racketeering and trafficking. So when we're looking at these words, how does that align with Cassie? Especially when they got messages of her calling for escorts, if they got her doing certain things, And at one point, I get you do definitely fear for your life, but I think some of it too was she was trying to appease, trying to get him to like, because she even said that, he was in a relationship.
Maybe so she won't get beat anymore.
But she had opportunities to leave too. Like it's a catch-22. I get that. And I get there's certain situations to where like, yeah, she probably can't leave. And again, with him showing up to her house and being controlling, being the weirdo, I definitely get that. So, but I think some of it too, I think she was trying to appease this dude to maybe get him to like her. So maybe he would stop, or I don't know. Like, it's just crazy.
Okay. I got, and this is just for genuine, my own speculation. If she wasn't allowed to leave, how did she get away?
She must have made a plan, because I know I did when I was in that situation.
Well, I see, but this is the thing. I understand your situation, but we're talking about somebody who's also wealthy, right? Who also had their own house, who had their own living space, right? Like we're talking like these two individuals lived together consistently. Like they had different houses in different states. That's what's making it hard. Now I do understand the concept of Diddy's a powerful man, right? Because he's wealthy. So I can understand to a certain degree you may not get the same amount of justice because of who it is, right? But according to her testimony, when she said she was done with it, they kind of left amicably, which is crazy to me. They went out to eat, sat down and ate, and then decided that they weren't going to do it anymore.
And then maybe I'm going to play. Remember, Third used to say I'm going to play advocate. So I'm going to play advocate here.
Okay.
Maybe she. Dang, Cassie, I'm trying to help you out, girl. Maybe she wanted it to seem like when he was done with her, even when she was done, after she passed the point of not wanting him to want her anymore, or wanted to be accepted by him or whatever. Maybe she wanted it to be like it was up to him to get rid of her, like to be done with her. Just speaking, because he has so much influence, because he has so much power, because she's seen what he can do, what he's capable of, and she's been around him. Maybe she was like, you know what? Maybe if I let him think he don't want me anymore, then I could get away. It could be that point. We don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
I was asking y'all.
Yeah,
I'm asking y'all.
I'm just trying to make sense of it. Because although I haven't been in an abusive relationship, I have been in a relationship where I didn't want the person, but I was like, well, let them think that they don't want me. I've done that before. So, and let them dump me and everything. And I'm okay. I understand, So there's that.
The hell is that? You know what I'm saying?
I've done that. Like, yeah, you're right. It's me. It's not you. You're right.
Oh man, let's go back to some of these comments.
These comments.
Yeah, they on fire today, and we appreciate you. Thank you guys for the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you guys are hitting this like, share, subscribe button, share. Make sure if you guys are on Facebook, hitting that like, hitting the love, hitting whatever type of emojis. Make sure you're hitting that counts as engagement. So, and it puts it out into the algorithm, because we got folks hating, but Connie says, I think the stuff Young Miami was doing for him might be considered trafficking. Maybe. What was she doing?
Young Miami was doing some extras, but she ain't charged.
True. Adoration says, we act like he didn't have people to handle his business no matter how far she ran. We act he was blackmailing her from the jump. There is that. We did hear about that. Rob says Diddy would find her. Also, Consuelo says, although Shannon Sharp should thank Diddy for taking him out the news cycle this week.
What are we
doing?
I don't know. I just think about so much stuff. The way I think is so different. Just like one of his ex-girlfriends made a movie called Enough. When they
you talking about J-Lo?
Yeah. When all of this happened, I was like, what if that was what it was like with him?
Right?
I'd be like, my mind.
For real.
My mind.
Yo, the crazy part.
The same thing.
The crazy part is, right? That movie just came on this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like,
really?
It was on this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. You know, so I'm like, I woke up like, when is this movie on? And sure enough, it was J-Lo.
You woke up
training
at Diddy house. You know what I'm saying?
When she put that water bottle in the toilet like she was peeing to get away, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, that is. I mean, it's just a lot to think about. That's what makes this weird, because the way they charged him and then what they talk about have nothing to do with the charges per se, and it's kind of like if I'm being honest, it looks like it's a shakedown. I don't think they really want him to be guilty. It from the way that they're charging it and the way they're conducting the case, down from the jury all the way through the process, it doesn't look like they want this man to be that guilty the way they set it up, because all of that plays a factor in what he's gonna get sentenced to. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you can't prove the trafficking or the racketeering, you know what I'm saying, then you got to go with lesser charges like the arson. He charged with arson. They may be able to prove that, but what's that, 2 years in jail? The lesser charges they may be able to get him on. I just think they charged him incorrectly because they was moving too fast.
Me too.
For him to be found guilty the way most people want him to be found guilty. I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment in it because he's going to get off on those two major charges unless they come drop some super evidence like soon. I just haven't heard it yet.
But the thing with this case and them putting him into light now to be held accountable for a lot of stuff, you got to think about it. With us growing up, with Diddy being in the headlines, look at how much bad stuff he was so close to, but he didn't get in trouble. Like the Shine incident. Like,
right. He's wealthy.
everybody else that's what I mean with the influence and the power. So they had to find something, and then hopefully look at how many people came forward. So
I don't think it's just that, but
no, it's a lot.
I hate to ice skate on the conspiracy theory ice skating rink, but I'm going to go. I'm going to take a stab at it a little bit because I think it's deeper than that. Let's see. I ain't reading what you wrote, Rob. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my stomach was turning just hearing some of the stuff that Diddy was for another man and rubbing it's Adoration says she needed that queen because, like you said, she knew a wrong move would eliminate her. It's dangerous out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Rob says I would put my Nikes around like the wind. I get what he was talking about before. Consuelo says, has anyone heard her music? Not being funny, is she talented? No. She's very, very pretty. She's a model. Oh man, how did I say this? She's not a singer. She's not like a Brandy, a Monica, even like a Leah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she's a step up above J-Lo, because I think J-Lo's tone deaf, you know what I'm saying? But she has no real vocal ability. She's just a pretty girl who can actually, like,
hold a note.
Quez, we're from choir. Do we even call it holding the note? She just has a likable voice.
Yeah.
She's marketable.
On the track. She could talk on the track.
Yeah, she
could talk melodically. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit for real. Y'all ain't shit for real, man.
Yeah, she ain't like, anybody ever accused her of being a great singer, you know what I mean? Like, but she has some pretty good songs. Like I said, J-Lo just... Anyway, Consuelo says, I like her music. I grew up with it, but not necessarily talent. Like I said, she got some songs, man, but, come on now, we know some singers, you know what I'm saying? Brandy, Monica, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was in a rough patch because there was real singers when she came out.
She was just marketable. And you know what I'm saying? She has the look. She can sell a product. She was more famous for being with Diddy than for her own music. It's a sad reality, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? She was with Ryan Leslie. She's good for maybe a few hooks or maybe even singing background. But, and again, oh, Lord. Brandy sucked also. What? Vocally? You high as tight.
Out of here.
Rob, you high as a kite. Brandy got vocal. Brandy from the church. She can sing. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. Faith Evans, huh? Faith Evans can sing too.
Mm-hmm. It's just a lot.
I'll stay off of that. But yeah, so going back to the ice skating theory, Brandy, this dude, now I'm about to call Melvin. Brandy is not, man. I don't know what you've been hearing. Brandy sang background with Michael Jackson. So hush now, man, hush. But so back to the conspiracy theory, and we're gonna jump into this Tory Lanez thing real quick. Diddy got beyond himself. Because just like what you said, Queen, you're right. There are a lot of things. He was skating, he was getting off, he was doing this, he was the king of the city. You know what I'm saying? He went from New York to LA making power moves. He had a lot of power, and he had a lot of people behind him. I think he started pissing off those people from behind the scenes. And it's kind of similar to R. Kelly, because R. Kelly was up there. I was just watching Shaft the other day. He wrote one of the songs for Shaft, and with Life, even Life, he did the soundtrack. R. Kelly been making music for everybody. Same thing with Diddy. Diddy been producing for everybody. But the minute that you step out of line, or you're not doing something that people want you to do, or even more particular, he called the tequila company racist. The next thing you know, it seems like, and I hate to sound like Dr. Umar, but here comes the parade of allegations and all this other stuff. Here goes the floodgates. The people that were protecting them before, they're not protecting them no more. And so now, saying he sold his share in Revolt. He had to sell different things in order to pay for his defense. And I think this is the way of humbling him and taking away his money to show him like, hey, we know about your secrets. You're a filthy individual. And now they're putting this into the court of public opinion. So even if he does walk from this case and he doesn't get charged with racketeering and trafficking, nobody's going to want to get in bed with him. No pun intended. But nobody's going to want to do any type of business with him because now his character is assassinated. They know that he's trash. They know that he's unethical. They know that he's a liar because he tried to say, I never hit her. And then all of a sudden we see a videotape and boom, here you are abusing this woman. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, nobody's going to win it. He's going to be radioactive. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If he walks from this case, he's going to be radioactive. So they destroyed his legacy and his career. He became now a butt of a joke, a laughing stock. So whoever he pissed off up there.
Add on to your theory just a little bit too, because
go ahead.
You brought up a very interesting point. How long do you think they had that video?
Years. It's so that's what people do. They keep receipts.
Right. So that's why it don't really seem like that much of a conspiracy theory, because if they had that video all that time, right, why had nobody ever seen it?
Somebody seen it.
Until I'm talking about us publicly, right? And it came out very conveniently after he sued them folks and said they was racist and wasn't promoting his products.
Hey man,
won all that money.
I'm gonna piggyback off your theory now, man. Here's where I chastised Cassie for taking the money. Here's where I'm gonna give her some kudos for taking the money. This girl was a little bit smart, right? So she sat up there. The video came out or whatever. Or no, before the video came out, she got the money from Diddy, saying that, hey, you can't sue me, you can't do whatever. And then she got the $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. So she got $30 million some damn dollars, right? Mm-hmm. Only for her to end up in court to give her testimony to tell exactly what Diddy is. And he can't touch or renege off that money because it came with a non-disclosure agreement. But because she got hit up by the federal case and she's not suing him, she's giving her testimony, her sworn affidavit. This is gonna, if another case does happen when it comes to domestic abuse, he's going away for a long time because of Cassie. And she got paid, she got the bag, and she didn't lose out. So, this is where she got $30 million.
And then
it's sad for her.
Yep, then we sing Wyclef. Lifestyle of the rich and famous, some die with the name.
Can't stand you. Can't stand you. Rob says, because it was in court when they settled. But it got released. It got released after she got that bag.
Yeah, they didn't have that in court.
He paid her for it to go away, for nothing to
for it to go away. But the district attorney was like, nope, we still going to use this against you. And sure enough, she's in court giving sworn affidavit. So it's making her look, more credible than anything. I did hear that, Rob, that Trump is going to. Well, why not? He has a team full of people who have similar charges, right?
Suge Knight said that. Ain't nobody listening to Suge.
But you don't know, they might. I mean, he might.
No, Suge Knight said that Trump is going to pardon him.
Suge said this?
Yeah, Suge
I got something to say to Suge. Because here's the thing. So, man, Diddy made the stuff that Diddy is involved in. It's like, I'm starting to believe he really did have a part in Pac's unaliving. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he got into a jealous rage and, because Suge was over here messing with Puffy's baby moms. So we're seeing the controlling aspect of how Puffy is. You know what I'm saying? So he did not like that. Only to hear that Puff had a secret, deep-rooted seated hatred against Tupac. Because Tupac's been taken from him since earlier on in both their careers. Like, I didn't even know that Diddy auditioned for the role of Bishop and Juice, and he lost out to Tupac. A lot of the women that Diddy wound up getting with later had already been with Tupac. You know what I'm saying? So when Tupac's over here calling him a cream puff and all this other stuff, and Biggie was supposed to initially be thug-like, I'm starting to think that, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. And especially when the former president or the co-owner of Bad Boy came out and said, no, I think TPD had a role in it, and Puff had some people from New York drive out. It's not looking good for Puff, man. He's a secret, down low, homosexual gangster, man. It's kind of crazy.
Man, homosexual gangster.
Next topic, please.
Because who puts another man's stuff on their chest and say who? You know, that's
take that.
Top.
You scared?
Sinners is the #1 movie in America.
We're gonna kill every last one of you.
Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan deliver a banger. Sinners, now playing only in theaters.
All right, so we are back. Sorry, I was getting ready to get carried away with that one. Yeah, it's nasty. With the last segment is nasty, super nasty. I agree with, yes, this is despicable. Anyway, Tory Lanez. I'm sorry. Tory Lanez is, if you guys hadn't heard, he's back in the news again. He's trying to get pardoned, or he's trying to get released from jail because he says that there's new evidence in his case. So, forgive me, the quality is a little bit low. So just kind of just pay attention to what this woman's saying, and we'll take a deep dive into it.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom. The prison system can no longer guarantee his safety, and that alone should be grounds for immediate action. But combine that with the overwhelming evidence of a botched investigation, and this becomes not just a legal issue, but a morale emergency. Tory Lanez deserves a new trial. He deserves due process. He deserves a pardon. And if justice still...
All right, so we get the gist of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, who is the prison system in there protecting? She said they can't no longer protect him like they was protecting him to begin with. Like, when you go to jail, they no protection. Shout out to them.
So what are you guys' thoughts, Jess? What you hearing the new revelation? The evidence in this case is Kelsey Harris's bodyguard comes forward and admits that Kelsey Harris shot at Meg Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? So remember, he went to jail for a shooting and whatever, but the bodyguard is now coming forward and saying that that's not true, and that he didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, and he overheard Kelsey talking about it. So I think at this point, if they got lawyers involved, then maybe he's willing to take the stand or even sign an affidavit to testify. So what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Honestly, I never thought he shot her. If we being honest, I know y'all gonna hate that take, and I don't believe victims and all that's coming, but it wasn't because of that. It was because of the way they once again in court doctored up evidence, and things wasn't lining up. You know what I'm saying? Even testimonies and corroborating stories, they just didn't add up, and they kind of forced it on us, but they did exactly what they're doing now. Court of public opinion, they just plastered us with he shot her, he shot her, he shot her, he shot her. but didn't have any real conclusive evidence to me. That's my thoughts. And if that is the truth, you know, some of y'all owe that man an apology, and definitely feel a way about the people involved in watching that innocent man go to prison. You know what I'm saying? And then get stabbed 14 times in prison. You know, I know that didn't have nothing to do with it, but if he would have never been in prison, he would have got stabbed. So, you know, that's just how I feel.
Jess, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm kind of with Quez on this one because I could have sworn somebody came forward before he even went to jail. But they kind of like brushed that under the rug. So I don't know. It was kind of sketchy for me as him shooting her too.
Yeah, the fact that Kelsey got immunity in the first place with this whole case, what you getting immunity from?
If you didn't
do you just a witness, immunity for what did you do that you needed immunity? Immunity comes when you know you did something and you don't want to go to jail for it, and you're about to tell on somebody else, or if something comes up, I don't want to be in trouble for it. So it looks like the way they played this, he knew he didn't do it. She got the immunity. Now you done went down, and now you want to come free because she can't get in trouble. You already proved that you didn't do it, and now you think the way I think, but I'm just saying.
So did she get immunity because she was the bodyguard?
No, she's not bodyguard. She was Megan Thee Stallion's friend who was messing with him and messing with Megan Thee Stallion's boyfriend.
I think this is the one that came out before and then got swept under the rug.
No, it was somebody else. There was a witness that said it.
Yeah, but they said it was her.
They said it was two girls arguing, and that I think one of the girls ran back to the car, got the guy. I paraphrasing, I forget what it was, but they were saying it was two women that were fighting. It was a woman that shot.
Yeah, and I believe she came out and admitted it.
No,
they were on the phone and he told her to be quiet.
Right.
She didn't go that far.
Oh, I think that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the
all kind of knew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ratchet part of it is that so I think Tory Lanez was messing with the Kelsey girl. You know what I'm saying? They were together or something, and Meg Thee Stallion wound up sleeping with the dude or something, and old girl Kelsey got upset and was confronting, I think, both of them about it or something. I don't know what happened, but then Meg Thee Stallion gets shot at in the foot. Yeah,
because remember for the longest, Meg Thee Stallion was saying that she never even slept with that man.
Mm-hmm.
She sure did.
Mm-hmm.
She sure
for
did.
The longest time, she just came out and said, "Yeah, I slept with him the other day." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for the longest, she was saying that he was just my friend. They never slept together.
Right. Consuelo says, so personal life choices are a part of this. These young people are drunk, high, riding around with guns. Stuff is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't go to jail for shooting somebody if you ain't shoot them.
Yeah, see, I thought they were too. I thought that Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion was dating too. And I used to be saying, like, dang, she like 7 foot, he like 5 feet down even.
Yeah, no, see, from what I understand, they weren't dating. Yeah, they were smashing. And again, a woman's life choices, whatever she does not service, any type of violence at all warranted, but or whatever, but word is that, Maggie was out there slinging that thing to a few, So again, she's young, she's successful, she's doing her thing. But the grimy part of it, if it's true that she's smashing her homie's friend or her homie's man, then yeah, and that's what happened.
He climbed.
See.
Tall glass of water.
Climb that tree.
You got a little booster seat, like a little boost.
I mean, it was just a lot though. And then now that I'm thinking about it, if you look at it that way, like that was her best friend's dude. She did do some stuff, like she paid Kelsey's rent for a year. Like she did all this kind of stuff Because she was like her assistant and stuff too on the back end. That kind of make it like, was she doing that because she kind of probably felt guilty?
Right. Yeah. So what do you guys think about Tory getting stabbed 14 times?
I think that lady on that clip explained it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know.
I think somebody was trying to protect their neck. You know what I mean?
Allegedly, he got stabbed before that information got out.
Yeah.
So
it could be that. I mean, he did get stabbed by somebody who didn't have nothing to lose, who already was serving life, who already caught like 3 different charges while they were already in custody for doing the same thing. But then there's also prison politics. You know, there is always a war in prison. He was a Mexican, an SA. They have war against Black people in jail.
On top of that, he's a foreigner. You know, we don't know who he's street politically connected to. You know, so as far as like, you know, any red or blue, you know, saying if he's any type of affiliation. So, but then but at the same time, he is a celebrity, so people are trying to get some type of notoriety off of that too.
Well, he is somewhere somewhat safe. He was in a
Bakersfield or something like that, somewhere near Bakersfield.
Well, Tehachapi is like up there, but what I'm saying is like he's not in. It's kind of general pop, but it's a segregated general pop because it's half and half. It's like half protective custody. It's like lower level threats. So that's another interesting thing.
Because why was you on the jail with a murderer then?
Well, he would have had to been in protective custody. He would have had to be PC'd up too. You know. But it's a whole bunch of politics we're not gonna get into.
Yeah.
But I mean, my question is,
I don't know. Classification is everything. When I worked in a prison, even if you a lifer and you like a level 4 or whatever, you're not about to be with
famous people.
Not even famous people. You're not gonna be with somebody else who hasn't had anything wrong, has a clean little rap while they're in jail, and you already caught 3 charges while you in jail. You on a whole nother yard, or you're not even going outside. You get an hour, maybe tops.
Right. Different jails do different things, man. Mm-hmm. But my question is, so if this comes out to be true, what do we do with Meg Thee Stallion?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. Her credibility, her character is gonna be done. You know, she's gonna be like that toxic. You know what I'm saying?
But to be fair, she didn't never want to say anything. She knew who shot her. She never wanted to say anything.
That's true.
They made her say, but then even if they made you say something, you was under oath.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
She danced around it and beat around the bush. If you seen the words that she was saying.
There is that. There's perjury. There is perjury.
Yeah.
And like, you know, again, like playing advocate, gotta take my advocate crown back. You know what I'm saying? Like she did. Yeah, he was wearing it for a minute, Queen, but you know, to play advocate, you know, she's not like she hasn't lied before. You get what I'm saying? Especially when it came to certain statements, certain stories, and certain things like that. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. It is definitely developing. Adoration says, but why? Why is he the scapegoat? What's really going on?
Maybe he felt guilty for smashing his girl's friend.
Man, I ain't never felt that guilty to go to prison, nigga.
He not like us. Shit. He's not like us. Let's rewind.
He is Canadian, you know what I'm saying? He is great. He's great people. You know,
he up here writing songs about Kendrick and getting. Look, you need to have your head on the swivel. You worried about this free man? You gotta watch your back on the yard.
Shut up,
man.
Okay, sorry that you got hurt though, Tory, but I'm just keeping it real.
You know, but here's the thing, Adoration. So why is he the scapegoat? Because in today's generation, we have two mix of people. And especially when it comes to certain girls or certain women, when they have this mentality of men ain't ish. It's the hey, let's berate the men. And then you have some men who turn around and women ain't ish. You know what I'm saying? As you can see in this whole Cassie case, and with her being assaulted and stuff, it's a thing of lack of respect. People thinking that certain people ain't shit. And this is why he's a scapegoat, because there's a lot of people who are bitter, broken, and hurt, you know what I'm saying? And so here you go. You know what I'm saying? This dude is now, if it's true, he's being used as a scapegoat. It's the sad reality that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Brings you back to the question of justice. But then there's also the fact that sometimes people don't want to snitch.
That part too.
Sometimes it's still some real people out there that don't want to snitch. And he probably felt like, they're going to see that it wasn't me. I don't have to, and didn't. But
didn't. And damn sure didn't.
So, and then there's that.
Problem. That was the problem. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he did feel I could see that happening. Well, man, I ain't tripping because once they get all the evidence, then I'm straight. I'm just not gonna say nothing, and then not saying nothing turned into your ass being locked up.
Right.
So
yeah,
and no snitching is for people who are no snitching is not for civilians.
Oh, but if he gets out though, he's going back to Canada. He's being deported because he did have a gun or a gun charge, whatever. They gonna get him up out of here.
If they exonerate him for one part, they're gonna have to exonerate him for all of it. True. They can't pick and choose.
I mean, but he's still gonna get deported.
You know how Trump feels about those immigrants, especially those Canadians. And he's black. He got a double whammy.
Especially the black immigrants. He
likes immigrants from South Africa.
I said the black ones
that are being genocided.
I said the black
where they own 90% of the wealth over there in South Africa.
Right. Yeah. That's another topic we're gonna get into.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's another one because
we were talking about that too.
I know we're trying to stay away from Donald J. Trump, but we wanted to talk about this one because it's insane to me. But Adoration, we have ran out of time. She said, no, what I'm asking is why did they, whoever they are, set him up to go to jail? There is it's no setup. It's essentially, hey, he's going to take the fall for it and she's not. That's what it is. It's no deeper. He's not trying to buy NBC. He's not calling tequila companies racist. He's not,
when keeping it gangster goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
He should have said something like, hey, man, I ain't shoot that heifer. You know what I'm saying?
But
you trying to be thugnificent.
Right.
Nah, I just said give my 12 in the box.
Right.
And them 12 sent your ass to a box.
And then even if you think about when it first happened, Megan Thee Stallion did not want to tell what happened.
She didn't. We're gonna give her that too.
They had to do a report because she was injured.
Right. Exactly.
She still didn't, and she even said, I didn't want to tell because I know that police shoot black men. That was what she said.
Right. So, she did say that,
So even going back to that, it was never something that she wanted to do. She didn't say, I want to put him away. She didn't do that.
Very true. All right, y'all. Well, this has been a dope show. Another good one. Thank you for those who are lighting up the comments, the rebroadcasters. Make sure you guys are still liking, sharing, and talking in the comments. We'll be wanting to turn in and talking back to you. We love you. We thank you for all the support. You know what I'm saying? Stay alive in 2025, and we're going to see you next time, all right? Thank you for the love.
Peace.
Catch you. Peace.